Hey y'all, I'm Dan, and this is Kinfolk, Stories of Community and Connection. Today we're heading into the heart of southern West Virginia to meet a four-piece band out of Glen Daniel, The Company. Frontman Tyler Carden joins me to talk about the roots of the band, their time in Liberty High's music program, and their upcoming single Got to Do, which drops on Memorial Day. We get into the joys and struggles of playing live, the power of music education, and what it's like to build something real right here in Appalachia. Let's dive in.
Hey.
Hey, Tyler, how's it going?
Going great. How about yourself?
It's going really good. So, if you're ready, we'll start off with kind of an introduction to you, and then also if you just want to let me meet the band, just kind of tell me their parts, who everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Tyler Carden. I'm the front man of the band, The Company. Like you're gotta be special about it. But I do a little bit of singing, a little bit of guitar picking, and a little bit of good time having with everybody else. Normally to my right will be Austin Tony. He plays guitar, sings backup. He helps me write a lot on lyricism. He and I are probably the primary lyricists in the group. And then over on my left usually is Super Dave, David Meadows. He's my bass player, does some backup vocals. Killer guy, way too intelligent for his own good. And then keeping the back behind us is Casey Cook. She's probably a better guitar player than anybody who plays guitar in the group, and probably a better drummer than anybody, but she doesn't like to be up front. She likes to stay in the back. She's kind of a no BS attitude kind of person, so she's a lot of fun to be around. And that's us. We like to have a good time.
I gotta hear who is the Super Dave? How did that name come about?
So Super Dave got that nickname where we all met each other. That happened in high school, and I don't even remember why he got called Super Dave. But our band director, who, as we continue this conversation, you'll find to be a trend. His name was Jeremy Rodriguez. We call him Rod. And just one day, just looked up and said, "You're Super Dave now," and it's been Super Dave. God, it'd be 2015 probably. Wow. So 10 years it's been Super Dave. He played drums for Liberty. He actually went across the street to Liberty High School from Trap Hill Middle School in 8th grade to start playing for their band. And I joined in my freshman year, missed band camp, and ran sound. But Dave and I Dave was honestly the first member of the company that I got to meet in the band program. Of course, I'd gone to school with him all my life. But it's wild because he wasn't even in the first form factor that was in high school. It's crazy to know that he's such a staple now, because I can post a picture of him and get likes and all kind, and post a picture of all of us, and it's Yes. We just shot a promo picture, and he was eating Taco Bell when we walked in to take the promo picture.
Nice.
Our drummer Casey's like, "That's got to be in the picture," and I was like, "I think it's a good idea." He's kind of just an off the wall guy, man. He's a great time to be around.
Was it Liberty High where you guys formed, or?
Pretty much, yeah. So we were all members of that generation of Liberty High School's band program. And I say that because it seems, and this happens in all kinds of other schools, but it seems that there's generations with directors, because everybody does it a little bit different. That's the beautiful part about art. Rod when he came there, he only had 8 people in the band. So he had a drum line the first year. And once he realized he never really got over 20 or 25 people, it was well, let's make everybody louder. So we had guitars and bass players and drum set players. We had a horn section over to the right. We had people who frontman. We had people who sang backup, keys players. We played Journey, Motley Crue, just to name a few of them. We would goof off and play some Aussie tunes that never got played out. We just played them. And I think in that goofing off, the things that we were oh yeah, we'll put this on a football field show for halftime, and we never did, kind of gave birth to this little 3-piece. It was myself and Casey Cook and a friend of ours, Andrew Hatcher, goes by Drew, fantastic bass player. We just kind of started playing at my house, and every time Casey and I have come together to play music, it's always been The Company. That's just, even if it was just a one-off, maybe we haven't played in 2 or 3 years, that's what it's always been. Drew's since gotten a good job. He's in college. He lives out in Huntington, so he's a little ways away. So, of course, we reached back into the program that kind of formed that. to bring in people we'd already, there's nobody in the band that I haven't played music with or been friends or considerably family with for less than 10 years. I mean, maybe Casey's in the 8th year because he's a couple years younger than me. We've all been so close for so long that if I'm going to be up there doing it, whether we do good or whether we go out and flake in front of a bunch of people, I'm going to do it with them.
Right.
Because I know that they're going to stand there with us. We're going to make it work. But yeah, it definitely formed there, and it's culminated to much more serious than it's ever been, which is exciting for me and the guys alike, because we're just pumped to come play music for people.
I feel like the only thing that I can really compare it to, so like my dad and my brothers can all play an instrument, but I can't. But I was in show choir, so it's kind of maybe a little bit close to the singing part, but I'm kind of curious I know how it felt to be in a group to sing and dance with, sometimes we would have partners and stuff. So I guess, how was it playing an instrument to come together and play music like that?
I think you can grasp this from show choir because you've experienced this in a different way. I think my favorite part, and it seems that we're all really good at this, is the communication without words. Like, have you ever been singing a part with somebody and looked at them and they looked back at you and there was a conversation there? There was it had nothing to do with the song. It was, can you believe that just happened? No, I can't believe that just happened. Look over there. That communication without speaking is one thing that you'll never find anywhere else in the same way. And I think it gets really interesting for us because we all like jam band music. That's not the majority of what we play, but it's definitely rooting into the music that we play. And being in that space, if I get up in the microphone and tell you what I'm about to do, the magic's gone. So I have to look at the guys and let them go, okay, he's playing like this. I bet we're going to do that. And then it all just has to happen. And whenever that happens, it's magical. I call it a musical moment. Rod introduced me to that because it'll never happen the same way ever again. Maybe it'll come close, but it'll never have the same people that experienced it and were affected by it. So that's what makes live music so interesting to me is I've always looked at it as, if you want to listen to music, you go turn on the radio. You can go into a bar. They've got the radio playing. That's fine. If you go out to see a show, a band perform their music, you go out to see a show. You come for the mistakes. You come for the stuff that you don't hear on the radio. You come, that's what you're going for. It's an entertainment factor. And I really think the state of West Virginia and the people in it are really realizing that and stepping up to the plate. We've got some killer acts that come through the lines. The Kind Thieves, Ben Fish, and just to name a few that are right on top of my head. Thomas Danley Band. These people are really putting on a show and giving folks their money's worth. I'm excited. I like to see it. I love to see it, especially being in the production field as well. I love to see that the artists around me are having turnouts to crowds, having responses on social media. It's this is great. I'm a all for one for all kind of guy, So
yeah, definitely.
If one of my buddies from down the street goes and hits it big, I don't expect a call out, but I'm going to be real excited for him,
Of course. So kind of on that similar, kind of talking about shows, and you mentioned a little bit about some of not all the music that you play, but some of it. Where are some places that people can catch shows, or where do you kind of see this movement the most at?
So we're pushing for the bars because they're easy to get into.
Yeah.
But it seems like one of the festival series that I'm a producer in, Raleigh County Live 25, that's going to be hosted at Lake Stevens. It'll be one a month all summer. The company's playing. We headline June 20th, and we'll have Ben Fishin and a relative of mine who's also a musician. Her name's Gracie. She will be playing with us. Between that and there's a few festivals that have really paved in and set in stone in the area. You see them at Ace. And I think the Kind Thieves have Camp Kind, which is a 1-night, 2-night thing. There's a lot coming. I know Raleigh County Live 26 is going to be booked, locked down by the end of July. We're going to know who's going to be in there. We're supposedly going to have more dates within each month. There's talk of building amphitheaters to support theater. So in the immediate area, in the Raleigh County area, we're going to try and supplement those 3 parks that are within the Raleigh County Parks and Recreation Authority. We're going to try to supplement those with more activities just because there's space for it. There's musicians here. There are people that are doing theater. There's people doing art. Everybody knows you can go to one place and go watch theater, West Virginia. Why can't you come see them somewhere else too? Why isn't there's room here. The economy can handle it. If we're talking on a big scale economic, and I'm not one for canceling coal or canceling this or canceling that, but they say a lot of West Virginia's money that comes in the economy is in tourism. Well, if we're going to do that, we need to support tourism like places like Surf City do. If you go to Surf City, you can walk down the street and there's bars and restaurants and venues everywhere, and there's live music going on. You can't even stop here in one place by the time you hear the next, So like, why are we not doing that here? If we're going to push to rely on other things as well in our economy, we have to support them on the local scale to bring that up for the people that come in.
And I fully agree with that. And I wish a lot more people would catch on that we have like the perfect outdoors. We have the perfect towns. All you need to do is just build on that local, like you said, like the local scene.
Right. There's so much more to build on. You can reinforce the things that we're already using for tourism. We utilize off-road trails, and they do music there. But if you want to do something big, you have to plan yearly events that people can come to. People from out of state can hear about it, and they have 6 months to prepare, save up money, because the economy's crap. We all know about it. We hate talking about it because it's a downer. Like, you have to plan ahead for these things, and I think that there's plenty of moving and shaking going on in the state to do that, and I think there's enough people that are movers and shakers to start pushing for that. I hope that one day I can be one of those people, or will be claimed as one of those people. But there's just so much to do here, and I'm really afraid that there's an outside looking in perspective that we're all just a bunch of dumb hillbillies in the mountains, and it's a lot more than that. I'm sure I'm a dumb hillbilly. I like it that way, but I'm only dumb where I think I should be.
Exactly.
There's so much to do here. Music is just a tiny thing, but I've made it everything about me. That's all I want. And getting to play to a room of people that are halfway enjoying it at the least, that's better than playing to my wall. Like, you can't beat the feeling. Now, as far as the business side of things, that part sucks. I guess you really have to fight a little bit more to prove to people, like, hey, we're an actual business. You paid the guy who officiated your wedding, didn't you? He's a business. That's a business. Like, you pay people for services, just like if you want to have a party and you want live music. It's different than turning on the radio. You're going to get a different experience. You're going to get what you pay for. But I feel like artists, not just musicians, I feel like people that work in theater, any kind of traveling show choirs, barbershop quartets, things like that, I think they really have to fight a lot more to prove that, hey, we're a business. Like, the reason it costs this much is because I've got $5,000 worth of gear sitting on your stage and 200 drunk people over here. Like, it's a risk I have to take, but you have to help me pay for it. Because if I want to keep making money, that stuff has to be in working order. It's hard to express that to people because everybody wants an explanation of price, and I can explain it for you and lay it out, and that's totally fine and totally acceptable in my opinion. But I feel like you argue with the band more than you argue with your plumber.
For real. And they're the ones probably outcharging you,
Exactly. Like, I always put it in a performance hour thought process, because all you see is the performance. If you book me for 3 hours, then I'm gonna lay it out to you like 3 hours. But like with the gig at Jimmy's place this Saturday night, we're gonna have to be there pretty early, because I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that the front man of Ben Fishing, who's opening for us, will be our sound guy, which is great. But if they start at 6, and that means he needs to have us set up at 6, we don't go until 9. That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. But, that's a lot of time where I have to be there or I might have to be there. And it doesn't really, I'm not getting paid, you know, uh,
Right.
when I advertise it to you like that. But that's the only way you can put it
Hmm.
is by that performance hour.
Yeah, I think people they just assume that you pull up to the 8:55, you pull up, get your guitar, and you play, and then
Walk
you
up on
leave.
stage. Yeah.
Uh,
I wish. I wish. I mean, on a lighter note, like this isn't the end of the world because I wanted to see both of the acts. But the last
mhm.
time we played Jimmy's Place, we were the opener, and it was a door deal. And the way door deals work is, if you got to get paid at the end of the night. So we played open, tore our stuff down. I pretty much looked at everybody like, "You go home if you want to." I'm like, "I'll stay here and get paid, but I want to see the other bands." We stayed, but it is kind of comical. It's like, if we were in a position to uh, go play somewhere else after that, you would have to leave and trust your friends. Most of the time you can, but
Uh-huh.
and the group that we played was very trustworthy, so it wouldn't have been a question. It's just some of those little odd things. You got to stick around and wait for payment. Show's not over. And then sometimes you get handed a check from the city of Hinton. They're like, all right, now go play. It's like, that's kind of early, but thanks. Like, yeah,
That's
it's
funny.
funny. You get two total different spectrums. It's hilarious. I like to if you don't laugh about it, you just get lost.
Exactly. So speaking of Jimmy's Place, what other upcoming shows do you guys have that's on the?
So right now, as far as locked in and lockdown, all I've got is the June 20th date with Raleigh County Live, and that's mostly because I know we had spoke about an upcoming release that's already been teased and it's on pre-sale, and you can find that information on our social media accounts, which I'm sure we'll link.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
but we're trying to give us a break in May and kind of be open ended after June
Hmm.
because we've got another song slated on demo. We've got another song that's in the writing stage, and we're looking to push for springtime or a winter release for an EP with 5 or 6 songs. One of them being a good cover that we normally like to do to give you a taste. So that's kind of why we're spaced sporadically. If you are a outdoorsy fan and plan to find yourself on Color the River on June 14th, we will be set up somewhere along the river on the bank playing music. You're more than welcome to stop in the river and float around and hang out with us for a couple of tunes and then continue on down your way.
That'd be
But
pretty
aside
cool.
from those two places, those are the last two. So you can find us somewhere on the side of the Greenbrier River on June 14th and up at Lake Stevens June 20th, rocking out and having a good time with Ben fishing.
Yeah, I'll definitely link all of that. That would be so cool to be able to. I might see what I'm doing that and see if I can't mosey on down and find you.
I think it's going to be funny because it's not like we're called Color the River. It's not like we're charging people. I mean, sure,
Right.
if you want to stop by and drop a tip, you're going down the river. Not everybody has money. Like I don't personally, I don't carry a wad of 20s going down the river. So I don't expect any tips. It's really just a good time to be had kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy the outdoors and want to catch a couple of smallie while we play rocking in the free world, more power to you.
So I do want to talk about your single just a little bit. It's called "Got to Do," isn't it right? Is that it? Got
Yes,
to
that
Do.
is.
So lay out the kind of the message behind the song, and then also it releases Memorial Day, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the it's kind of funny. The release on Memorial Day was really just a. You ever had that fantastic dream of putting a map on a wall and throwing a dart at it and going there? That was really one of those things where we were like, "What's a day that's important to people? What's important to us?" And then Casey was just like, "Memorial Day." I was like,
Sold.
perfect. I was like, that gives us plenty of time because we were still filming promo stuff and making sure our masters were the way we wanted them before they got
Yeah.
sent out. And so I was like, that gives us plenty of time. And we sunk that in and thought it would be comical to go pre-sale live on Pi Day. So we did that. But Got to Do is, have you seen the artwork? I don't know if I've sent it to you, but it's on the Instagram page.
I don't think I have.
It looks like Abraham Lincoln.
I have. Yes, I have.
And he's wearing the company hat.
Uh-huh.
So the hook to that song is "Hell I Don't Love It, But It's Got to Do," and it's talking about how I feel a lot of Americans can really relate to this. It's talking about how you're working, and it seems like no matter how hard you work, because the economy and the state of the areas that you're in financially, it just doesn't seem like you can ever get ahead. But it has to work.
Uh-huh.
You've got to make it happen. So I guess there's some little snippets about finding the good here and there. At the end of the day, it is a rock song that's kind of based around that hair metal sound with a real heavy Southern rock influence. So a lot of it's guitar work and big gang vocals to make it big. But there's not a lot of premise to it. It's just kind of everybody's working, nobody's making enough money, everything's too expensive, and this is our life now. It's got to do.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's why I thought Abe from the Dollar Bill was just a perfect representation of the concept. Because I don't know how well it's portrayed. I can only imagine how the listener is going to portray what we've produced.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to make sure the message got across, like, hey, this is about money. And I was really afraid because once you put in your dates and stuff, for the most part, it's kind of locked through DistroKid. Doesn't mean you can't change it. It's just kind of a troublesome task. And for a little while there, I thought we were gonna tank.
Oh,
like right after Pi Day went pre-sale, and I was like, oh, this is bad. I was like, I don't want to get famous because we predicted something horrible. Like I'm like,
get it.
I'm so glad we waited till Memorial Day. And then 2 days later, I'm like, oh, we're good. We're golden. I don't want to start our legacy out like that. But we've got some more coming. We've got the one that's demo slated. I can't really release the name yet, but it's kind of a love song everybody can relate to. So we're trying to touch on most of the key points. It's an interesting process because my guitarist lives a distance away from me now, an hour and a half. So most of our writing, as it was before, is done video chat, or I'll send him a video, he sends me a video back, and So the writing process is really interesting, but it's really hard to forget anything because it's all laid out in front of you. But I'm really excited about that one, and I'm really excited about our cover. We play the cover all the time, and you've never heard it like you've heard it. When we get the opportunity to do it, I think the way that's going to work is we're going to have all the originals are going to be studio done, but we're going to make sure that the cover goes back to the root of what our videos are, which is everybody live in room, live performance.
That's cool.
Which in my thought process is the idea of an EP, is that one room, you can hear the room. Not in a bad way, but you can hear the room, and you can feel the players bouncing off of each other. That energy can't be matched. I think that's why a lot of people like Dave Matthews Band and Government Mule and the Allman Brothers, is that back and forth, the conversation that's happening.
Before I squirrel here, is there anything that we have not talked about yet that you would want to talk about?
I didn't get to the fundraiser when we were talking about Liberty.
Go ahead and lay that fundraiser out.
So we are actually done now, because I made a post about it for my birthday and upticked shirt sales like crazy.
That's awesome.
But we had a bunch of shirts made that have this logo on the front, a logo on the back that says "I Still Believe," and LHS and a heart. That was something that when we were in that program and Mr. Rodriguez was there, you get those pre-show jitters, or maybe even beyond that. You just got a bunch of ADHD, OCD riddled musicians that are in teenager form. You have to be able to get everybody's attention. And one of the things that he used to do, and I remember it always comes out heroic in a way, but I remember like the most chaotic of scenarios. There's 25 people running like mice or ants in an anthill when they're being attacked, just all over the place, screaming, crying. And out of the corner of the room, you heard Jeremy Rodriguez go, "I believe in Liberty High School." And the whole room would stand still, and you could hear a pin drop after they said, "And I love it." The pin would drop.
Awesome.
silence, you know. And the current director at Liberty is an alumni of that program. He's doing a great job with that program, and we wanted to show that they're not alone. Some of the local, our county has made some pretty interesting decisions as far as teachers and counselors are concerned. And I wanted to help while it was still an option. So we got together and had these shirts made, and we bought all of them and sold them for $20 a pop. And every t-shirt that you bought was a donation from you and a $3 donation from me.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we cut it. We didn't really break even at all. But we did come up with about $450 to donate to Liberty High School.
That's awesome.
So I don't know, man, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's not a lot of money. But I know that that's a couple of kids going to band camp that maybe their household couldn't budget it out. Or maybe that's a couple of instruments to put in people's hands. You know, whatever it is, it terrifies me at the concept that students or anybody, that a person could miss out and not have the opportunity at something that is the sole reason I made it out of high school and am who I am today. It just mortifies me. And the likes of the company and the rest of the band, we all came from that. You know, we all were there, and it made us who we are. And I would hate for somebody to miss out on that opportunity. I would also hate to know who I am if I had not gone through that program, the kind of person that I would be now or who we'd be talking to, because me without music is a terrifying thought process. But yeah, I was real excited to get to donate some stuff to them. And we haven't made our donation yet. I'm still putting everything together. Because I'm going to try and go up to the school and give it to them in person, get to see some of the kids, and maybe give out a couple of T-shirts that I do have left. I'm just excited to fly the flag. I mean, all the alumni are still like family. We got together for Mr. Rodriguez's birthday, and we played some music, and everybody hung out and visited with everybody, and it was like a family reunion. I mean, these are all people. I love all these people. Like, I could call them on the side of the road at 2:00 in the morning. Somebody's coming to help. So it's a community. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'm also really proud that we can give back to it.
Certainly, yeah. And I think that's, really important. And I'm glad that you said, one of the main reasons of how you made it out of high school. And I'm thankful for, my art teacher and, art class. And it was, someone, took the time to sit with me and actually wanted to give back and cared about the next generation to come up.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. You talk about art teachers brings me to a point that I thought about. We talked a little bit about this on WAY, so I would feel rude to not mention it here. There's a theoretical planned for next year under Raleigh County Live, and it'll be like a 2-day festival, but it'll be kind of like a festival hijack, right? So I want to take the company, and we want to steal that 2-day gap on a weekend. We want to bring all of our friends, play 2 days worth of music, do all the vendors plus some that they normally do at Raleigh County Live. And we want to add a merch stand. We're talking conceptual ideas of T-shirts with art drawn on them from local art classrooms as like an art competition, right? And the big kicker is once we break even and pay everybody, all the profits will be donated to local art programs. And we want to call it CoFest, like CO period. So like that's our idea. It's still an idea. I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about it just enough to incite curiosity, but not to invoke that it's going to happen next year.
Exactly.
It is definitely still in the forming stages, but everything that you'll see from Raleigh County Live this year will have been produced within probably 2 or 3 months. Everything that we put together, it was myself. I was contacted by Leon Roden, who's the events coordinator at Raleigh County Parks Authority, and Mr. Jim Snyder, who's a wonderful guy, has put together a couple of festivals over the years. If you remember the Greenbrier Winter Music Festival in Lewisburg,
I do.
He used to play a big role in that. Great guy. We put 4 dates together, or 3 dates together, and there's a talent showcase date. There's just so much coming that was put together in such a short amount of time. I'm so excited for next year because it's going to be done this summer. We're going to have everything set in stone, and there's going to be so much to talk about.
I mean, it all sounds awesome. And especially, I mean, CoFest. I know, like, you say just speak a little bit about it just to, incite curiosity. Well, if you ever get the ball rolling and need anything at all, just feel free to reach out. I'm happy
Absolutely.
to help.
Yeah.
The only thing left is I have just 3 rapid fire questions for you. Just
hit me.
First thing that comes to mind. So the first question is, you can tweak it if you need to, but say you've just had a late show. What is your post-play meal? Like, what's your go-to meal?
Oh, man, this is sad. I'll tell you what it is lately, and I'll tell you what it is in my dreams. So lately, it's been McDonald's, like two spicy McChickens, large fry, and caffeine does me opposite. So a big sweet tea, knock me out in about 25 minutes. But the dream thought process is a big juicy steak and something, whatever it is, you're going to eat a lot of it because you just skipped out on eating so that your vocal cords aren't all gummed up, for 6 hours or whatever, and you're ready to eat and go to bed. So yeah, McDonald's is the usual, but I always want that big juicy steak right off the flat top outside.
Hey, listen, people shit on McDonald's so much, but I'm telling you, sometimes anything to fix my mood is just a Big Mac and like fries and a Coke, and I'm completely good to go.
All right, what you got next?
Okay, question number 2 is, it can be either just specifically to the state or opening up to Appalachia as the region. Do you have like a dream venue that you want to play at?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Well, I guess I can't say the Ryman because that's on everybody's list. And that's a little outside of the box. But I think, I think it would be really cool to be able to play the Empty Glass regularly. I know they do open mics every once in a while, but to be one of the guys, like for the company to be on the list, like the call list,
yeah,
which takes a lot. I mean, that's one of the, I think 1-2-3 Club and Empty Glass are probably the 2 really good stepping stones out the door. I don't know that our music that we play fits 1-2-3 Pleasant Street as much, but I'd be down to do something like that. But I think the Empty Glass definitely fits into like the kind of music we like to play.
Yeah.
And I'd like to be able to be a regular up there.
So the last question is, who was a big influence musically for you when you were growing up? Like someone you always were listening to?
Yeah, I was kind of formed by a really weird mix of country and heavy metal and classic rock. But when my music tastes really seemed to deepen and actually affect the way I played and wrote music, there's 2 guys that really stand out. And I think that all happened when I got a car and had a car radio. Joe Walsh and Warren Haynes, probably. I think when I play guitar, I feel like a lot of the stuff I make up off the top of my head sounds like something I'd hear Joe do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the stuff I want it to sound like is something that you'd hear Warren Haynes do. But yeah, those 2 probably influenced me the most. Oh,
well, I mean, Tyler, that's everything that I had. So
that's all I got too, man. I had a great time. Can't wait to see however it gets snipped up.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Kinfolk, Stories of Community and Connection. Big thanks to Tyler and the company for sharing their story, from jam sessions in high school to fundraising for the next generation of Liberty High musicians. If you're floating the Greenbrier this June or find yourself at Lake Stevens, keep an ear out, you might just catch them playing live. Show notes, including how to connect with the company, can be found in the episode description and on Instagram. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, where I highlight local businesses, festivals, and hidden gems across Appalachia. Do you have a small business, band, or story worth telling? Shoot me an email at kinfolkpodcastconnect@gmail.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and don't be a stranger. Take care, y'all.